Good morning and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we're going to be looking at the southern part of Karon Beach because this area has a lot to offer, and for those of you who don't know, Karon Beach is actually quite a large area. Now if you've been following my channel regular, you will have seen I've already covered the northern part of Karon and what is the main area of Karon's town, or most people refer to it as the town area. Often the southern end gets forgotten about, and there's actually quite a lot of facilities down here, a lot of hotels, and personally it's my favorite part of Karon. A lot of people will know, of course, the Horizon Hotel, which was closed for a very long time, but I'm glad to say that is open, and I've checked this morning and it looks busy up there. There has been a few changes though down here since I've last been. Just across the road there was a sports stadium which was for a long time in disrepair, and as you can see it has been knocked down. Now a very well known company, I guess you'd call them, called Catavilla, that used to be on the end here and then moved just up the road and took over the Merritt Hill bungalows. I see that has now changed and a company called Eat has got it, and they're called the Ocean View bungalows now. And of course the Eat sign over there, they're well known with restaurants. They've got a few across the island. I have eaten at the Eat restaurant in, is it Kata or Karon? It's right on the border. I think it's classed as Kata, the Kata Eat. I have eaten in there and the food was very pleasant. So a few changes in this area, and of course you have the Karona Resort and Spa just over there as well. So lots and lots of accommodation. Just behind me is, of course, the southern part of the beach, which we're going to move on to now. And to the left-hand side is the well-known Tan Beach Club. And, of course, you have the Karon Beyond, or the Beyond Karon Hotel. So let's now make our way onto the beach and give you a look at the beach. Weather-wise, you can see blue skies today. Very, very nice indeed. And we have had a few days that's been like this, sunny, but of course we're at the beginning of October, and October is notorious here in Phuket for being probably the worst month for rainfall during the year. It started off reasonably well and dry, but there has been a weather warning given out this morning running from the 5th to the 7th of possibly heavy rain. But what I find is, and that is for the southern part of Thailand. So Phuket sometimes gets away with it. We don't see the rain, and sometimes we do. As I've mentioned before on previous videos, Phuket is very difficult to predict the weather here because it changes very quickly. And I would go as far to say it has its own mini climate. Sometimes it can be raining heavy in Phang Nga, Krabi and those areas, and not raining in Phuket, and then other times it can be the other way around. So it is very changeable, especially at this time of year on the island. So you do have to take the weather with a pinch of salt, and on days like this make your way down to the beach and enjoy the beach. And then when the weather isn't so good, then you have to find yourself other things to do that may not involve the beach. You can see already quite a few people in the water. So let's just have a quick wander down a bit further to show you the Karon, or Beyond. I keep saying Karon Beyond, but it's actually beyond the Karon Resort because of course you have the Beyond Kata Resorts as well. And that Karon Resort is very nice indeed, and it's right on the beach area as well. Do be careful of these areas because these are drainage outlets, storm drain outlets back into the sea. But it's not knowing what's being drained into them that's the problem. And of course, just in front there is the Tan Beach Club. I have covered that, and I will link it either on the screen now or in the video's description. So go and check that out, and you can see what that's like inside. Nice beach club, but as always with beach clubs, they can be fairly pricey. But I really like this part of Karon's beach. Personally, it's a personal thing. There's not much in it between the north and the south. I guess it's really on your taste. You're very close to Qatar. You're literally a hop, skip and jump away from Qatar if you stay in the southern part of Karon. So you get not only the benefits of all the facilities in Karon, you've got the benefits of Qatar as well. So that might be something to consider. Not that you're that far away from Qatar if you stay in the north of Karon, but it is a lot more convenient, and the main road that runs at the back here has got a lot of restaurants, hotels along there. You've got the Marina Phuket Resort, I think it's called, a restaurant called Chopsticks, and of course you have the Dino Park, which is the mini golf themed on like a Jurassic Park type theme, so great for the kids. You can see there the Beyond Karon Resort, very, very nice indeed. Love to hear some feedback from people that have stayed there. I haven't visited this resort before. I have covered the Beyond the Qatar Resort. Again, if you want to have a look at that, I'll try and link it in the video's description. I would imagine they're very similar, different style, but very similar type of resort inside, service, etc. wise. So do give me some feedback if you've stayed there, what your experience was, what your thoughts were. But I want to concentrate more on the beach today because of the weather and obviously being so beautiful. Blue sky. You can see red flags on the beach again, but people, obviously it's such a nice day, they want to go in the water. And unfortunately we are seeing quite a few drownings again. I have mentioned this several times and I do talk about it quite a lot, and I know people get a little bit tired of it probably, but as I've mentioned before, if you can save somebody's life then it's worth talking about it. The problem that we have here in Phuket at this time of year, and I'm talking about from the end of April to the end of November or middle of November, we get a lot of undersea currents on the west coast of Phuket, and these can't be seen, obviously they're under the water, and they can be extremely dangerous even on a day like this. So you do have to be very mindful of going in the beach. These red flags are there for a reason, and that is to warn you of the dangers of entering in the sea. But you can see children, adults, and unfortunately just a few days ago on Nayang's beach, I think it was, if I remember rightly, a Japanese guy with his wife. He got swept away and drowned. We've had a few. In fact, there was one on this beach not long ago, a couple of months ago, on Karon's beach. I don't know whether it was in the southern end or the northern end. So it is a regular occurrence here. So I will stress, and I do stress here, be mindful of the flags. Is it worth losing your life over a 5-minute swim? If you must go in the water, because I understand you're on a holiday, you want to enjoy yourself, and why wouldn't you? Just be mindful of the dangers. Do not venture out too far, regardless of what other people are doing. Don't forget, there are lifeguards on some of the beaches, not on all, and they have to put their life in danger to come and save you should you get into difficulty. And I know it's hard to believe, looking at the sea at the moment, that it could be dangerous, but trust me, it is. So you can see the beach here, very beautiful in the southern part, just much like the northern part, but good facilities along the back edge of the beach. You've got a shaded area where you can dive into should the sun get too much and you don't want to rent the sunbeds. Of course, there are plenty available here on Karon's beach. I do think there's a few missing because before it was full, but there's a little bit less because the local government are clamping down on it at the moment. These sunbeds with the parasol normally going to cost you around 200 baht for the day, or for as long as you want to use them, basically. So there's a tip. It's pretty standard price across the island for the parasols and the sunbeds. And it certainly looks like it's going to be nice today, even though that weather warning has included today, because today is the 5th of October. So the weather warning starts from today. But as I've said, the southern part of Thailand, and particularly Phuket is difficult to predict when it comes to the weather. It can change very, very quickly within 10 to 15 minutes, and you can literally watch the rain coming across the sea towards Phuket. But if you're coming in low season, then make the most of the good weather. You will get good weather, but for how long and when, nobody can tell you that. So of course, I'd love to hear a little bit of feedback, what you think to the southern part of Karon's Beach, whether you think it's as good, if not better, than the northern part. Personally, I like this part better. We will be taking a look at the facilities along the back edge of the road on another video. I'm just covering really the beach and just at that one side that I mentioned because of the changes that I've noticed this morning. I haven't been here for a while. Some great places to duck into there, look, for some shade. Just in the back there. Now I think the southern part is better for hotels. The choice of hotels in the southern part is a little bit better, I personally feel. But again, I'd love to hear some thoughts and comments. Most of the hotels really are in what most people refer to as Karon Town. There's only one that I've showed on the northern part video that's actually what I would class on the beach. You've of course got the Novotel, but that isn't on the beach, it's on the main road, and then a few other of the Centaura hotels that are scattered around. So you do have a few choices in the northern part of the beach, but I feel that you've got more options in the southern part when it comes to nicer hotel accommodation. And of course, in low season, I would say your accommodation is more important, and why I say that is because of the weather. If you've got a really nice hotel that's got lovely swimming pools, bars, etc., maybe somewhere for the kids to play, if and when it does rain, you've got those activities to do, so you're not going to be quite as bored and stuck for things to do, because it, as I've said, at this time of year, unfortunately the weather is very unpredictable and it will change. So you have quite a few hotels, not only at the bottom, but running along here, along the back line, all the way, and they're literally, what, 50 yards from the beach. So they're not on the beach, they're split on the opposite side of the road that runs parallel with the beach, but they are very, very close. And then of course you've got lots of shops and facilities. There's even a little market up there as well that you can explore, some bars, etc., and a smaller area. I'm not going to say it's the town centre because, as I said, I've already covered what most people refer to as Karon's main centre at the top, but there is an area that's very similar that again has a lot of restaurants, bars, shops, massage, etc. Let's just have a look at the bus stop. So we've got a bus stop right out here, and looking at the price, this will be the blue bus. So this will take you to further into Karon, and it's come from Qatar, so on the opposite side of the road you can catch it going to Qatar, and that'll give you an idea. And this runs back to Phuket town, and by the looks of it, it also goes past the night market, the Nakar night market, which is handy to know. But just bear in mind, these buses do not run that late, so after sort of 6 o'clock you're going to be struggling to catch a bus. So if you want to use the bus to go to Nakar market, you can if you go in early afternoon, but coming back later in the evening you're going to have to get a taxi of some sort. Well, that's it for today's video. I'm going to keep it to a reasonable length. As I say, I shall be back over because I'm doing the mini series on Karon. Love to hear some comments and thoughts, some feedback please on the videos, and I'll speak to you very soon.